rock and roll?
Let her fly.
We are live. We are live here on the Bearcat Journal broadcast. Rock of Truth is back, sponsored by Serenity Apparel. In a society constantly telling people who to be and where to go, Serenity Apparel vitalizes a different path, your path. Follow your passion, stay true to your values, and find serenity in who you were created to be. Use code ROCK10 for 10% off your purchase at shopserenityapparel.com. Boys, welcome back. 3-1. How we
Here
feeling?
come the Cats. Here we go. How you feel after
rock and roll? Let's recap Indiana.
Yeah, dude. A tale of two halves, right? I mean, and that first half, the Bearcats came out and couldn't have looked like a better football team. Absolutely smacked them in the mouth, and then kind of went silent for the last back half of that game.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much moral of the story. Yeah, definitely two halves. Anytime you go up, 38-10 at half?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. You're not just going to roll over, but it's got to be tough to, stay motivated, keep that foot on the gas. And I think Indiana also doesn't want to get embarrassed. So I feel like maybe they had a long look in the mirror at halftime, and they kind of came out that second half with a little bit more fight, a little more punch in them. But all in all, I mean, yeah, we looked like a really good football team on Saturday.
It was crazy. I mean, that first half, it was like almost flawless football on both sides of the ball, especially on offense. Ben in the first half was 17 of 21 for 314 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions. I mean, you can't have a better half than that, and I think it was some sort of record. I mean, he looked damn near flawless out there, and then Tyler Scott had himself a day. 10 catches, 185 yards, 3 touchdowns. Most of that, if not all of that, came in the first half. So they looked great. And then I don't know what happened in the second half, but it looked like a completely different football team. And Ben kind of looked banged up. He kept grabbing his arm and his elbow. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if he was hurt. I don't know if they were just, playing not to lose rather than keeping the foot on the gas. I was a little bit disappointed with the second half, but if they can play like they did in the first half every week, I mean, that's a top 10, top 15 football program in the country, football team in the country, in my opinion.
Injury expert Chad Brendel. Yeah. He said he had a cut in the Miami game, like down around his elbow area, that the scab came off. So I don't know if there was I'm sure that stings and is a little annoying, but it wasn't anything mechanical or shoulder, elbow, whatever. He said it was a cut.
Okay. Well, yeah, he kept grabbing at it, so I'm glad it's nothing serious. But yeah, I really don't know what the deal was in the second half. I don't have much to say on it, and I guess I don't want to harp on it more than I already have. But they looked good. They came out swinging. They punched him in the mouth. Tyler Scott, I mean, that guy, he's always been quietly a stud, but finally the numbers are showing. I think we tweeted it out. I don't think anybody in the country runs a better post route than he does. Yeah. I mean, how many times does that guy just find himself wide open, completely spinning the DB? And he's running down the near goal post with nobody near him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, piggyback just off Tyler Scott, he first Bearcat to have 3 touchdown catches and a half in school history. So honestly, making school history, that's a big deal. Yeah, Ben looked great. I mean, Miami, Ohio, they must not trim their fingernails over there. That's two injuries now where they got cuts, right? Wasn't that with Corey Kiner too? He got a cut on his hand. Wasn't that the case? It must be a little nasty over there.
That's what we're hearing.
The funny thing about Tyler Scott was, I don't know if you guys watched Tyler Scott's interview, but it was kind of funny, like his post-game interview. He was talking about him feeling like he had a few drops in the second half. It just tells you everything you need to know about the guy and what he wants to do and what he's trying to accomplish when he's out on the football field. I mean, there's a reason he's a special talent.
Yeah, he's a great kid. He's an interesting character. He's quiet. He's an old soul. He's an old soul for a young man. I know the guys always mess with him, but he's a great kid. He's one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet. So it's easy to root for guys like that. That are great on the field, but even better off the field. So happy to see his numbers and keep feeding him the ball because he's a stud. So.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of the ball, that defense, I mean, man, Ivan Pace just continuing to be the best linebacker in the country. I think hands down, leading the way, but able to force 3 turnovers always is key. Another defensive score, which is always awesome as well. So that defense, I think there was a lot of questions coming in. Definitely were a lot of questions coming in with, everybody want to talk about how many guys got drafted and how many we missed, but I'm really impressed with the defense, how they've been playing. I think a sleeper who had a really good game was the Brian Threats. I mean, 9 tackles, having a takeaway, haven't, heard a ton his name called this year. So just to have, a game where he came out able to show his talents. And Eric Phillips as well up front, productive, 4 tackles, 1.5 sacks, causing that forced fumble on the touchdown, 2.5 TFLs, and also, batted a ball down at the line. So I think, like you said, that first half was beautiful football, complete football. Can't talk enough though. Ivan Pace, just 15 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 4.5 TFLs, just doing it all. Just wow. I mean, that dude's impressive. We're lining him up damn near as a nose guard, standing up. We're running twists with him. He can also drop back cover. He just, he's a bullet madman. We've said it every week. So
every single week, and I saw something that he's the highest graded linebacker in the country right now from PFF.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, that is big time.
Joe, you got anything to add on the atmosphere? It looked electric, man. Give us the update.
Well, I wasn't there. I mean, I heard great things about it, but I was officiating a wedding, so I wasn't there. So I heard great things about it. I was actually watching the game live on my phone because I was so nervous to give this wedding ceremony sermon or whatever it's called. I was so nervous the entire time that I basically was watching this game on my phone off to the side, and people were coming up to me like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And I was like, "Hey, listen, get away from me. I'm coping with my nerves in a different way. I'm turning my nerve attention to a different place." So, and then when they went up 38-10, actually at the beginning of the ceremony, I told everyone in the crowd, "Hey, put your phones in your pockets. I'll keep you updated as the game goes on. We're up 38-10. Let's not panic." And then the ceremony was over and it was 38-24. And I jumped back on my phone. I was like, "What's going on?" So I got to watch first and second quarter and the fourth quarter. I didn't get to watch the third quarter when all the craziness was going on, I guess.
Yeah, you didn't miss much. I completely forgot. I just know that you're the biggest Bearcat fan I've ever met, and you're at every game, but I completely forgot that you were officiating the wedding. But did it go well, though? Could you rate your performance for us?
I'd say I did a 7. I would give myself a 7.2 out of 10. I felt like I did well. It's the first game I've missed in 6 years in Nippert.
Really?
Wow.
A 7.4 is pretty modest, man. I'm sure you were.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
first
were strong.
First in 6 years.
Love it. Hey, happy for you, Joe.
I tried my
dude.
best.
Keep it up. That rating, the rating is just going to continue to climb. This week, though, we're very excited. Oh my gosh! Finally. If you were with us last year, he joined the show. Last year, we had a lot of guests come on. This year, our first guest ever from the defensive line room, one Jabari Taylor. I think Jabari would love to play that Indiana O-line every week. I mean, they looked like about as soft as a bag of bananas up front. I think they had a D2 transfer that wasn't expected to play, start at center. I think their starting right tackle maybe was out as well. I don't know. But So welcome to Rock of Truth Season 2. Jabari, what up, man?
What's good? What's good?
Big number 90. Let's piggyback off of Indiana. Just how'd you feel? Well, just as a team, obviously great win. Congrats on the win. Always hard to win games. So
Facts. Appreciate it. I mean, like you said, it's always great to get a win. That's hard enough. But I mean, shoot, we were feeling good. It was in the nip. It was packed out. You feel me? It was a well-awaited game, and everybody, as soon as we put that ball down, you know what it is. We ready to play. Simple as that. No knocks on nobody or anything, but I mean, yeah, I think I can say the chemistry is a lot different this year on the team. A lot different in a good way.
That's good. I was gonna ask, what's it like being the old head, man? Now you're the old one around here. You've been around forever. How does it feel? I know that feeling. How
Dude, I'm like, it's like 3 times a day. I'm just like, I like zone out. I'm like, man, this is a whole nother era in here. Like,
right?
like, man, like I feel like I'm 30. Like, it's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. You see some like 18-year-olds like talking about, whatever they're talking about, doing their TikToks and stuff, and you're like, man, I got to go home and I got to make my chicken and rice and I got to get in bed by 10 o'clock. Man.
you got more talent than chicken and rice.
Shoot, man, but it takes time when you want to have fun in the kitchen. Only got time for chicken and rice.
Right?
Love it. I mean, to piggyback off that, we hit on it a little bit just on how unfortunate and just awful about, Malik just with his injury. And, can you talk a little bit more just how you maybe did you take a step up on your leadership? Didn't much change? Did you just stayed the course? Just again, leading that D-line room with a lot of guys that just haven't had a lot of playing time.
True. It's a lot of, how should I say? I can't. Man, it's a weird mix of old heads, mid-year guys, and then younger guys. It kind of reminds me of what year would that have been? 2018 when it was like Cortez, Kimani, and them, and then it was like the mid-year guys like you and Kurt and us, and then I like Malik and me and such, the younger guys.
Yeah.
And but I mean, I kind of just stayed the course for it, honestly. I mean, yeah, I felt like there was a part of the room that not only just me but Briggs had to take on as well. Malik not being there physically on the field present, but I mean, he's definitely still around in meetings and everything and traveling and such like that. So, it doesn't feel like that much is missing. But, I mean, you definitely notice the difference on the field, just like, communication and chemistry-wise and such. But, I mean, it's not like there's a problem since he's left. Eric Phillips has been able to, he's one of those in between mid-year old head guys, too, who's been behind the scenes. He's been hungry to play, so it's made it a lot easier for all of us because we know he's gonna go and do his thing. But yeah,
love it. Yeah, I bet I'd love to see that total of career snaps played in that room. It's probably like
I think about that every day.
500, 400, maybe 70, 50, 30. just how like you said,
it might look even crazier than that for real.
Yeah. Love that. We touched last time you came on, we touched, a little about how there's kind of been a constant change in the coach in the D-line room. You want to talk a little bit about Coach Stewart, just maybe more so not just his coaching philosophy differences, but how it feels. I mean, he's got to have a different sense of juice just being that beast of a player he was for the Bearcats back in the day.
Yeah, he's man, Coach Stu. He's top 3 for surely. He's that's a funny dude, easy to get along with. Man, he's all for a good time and and getting the work done when it's time. But yeah, man, he brings a different type of juice to the room, And I appreciate what he brings because, it doesn't do anything but add to my tool belt because, I've been here since the start of, it all in 2017 after that 4-8 season. And I've had, 4 or 5 different coaches almost now. My tool belt is kind of crazy if you think about it. Not even just me, but, the players who are here with me and a couple who have gone and moved on, So I that's how I've looked at it all these years. But yeah, man, he's for the way, it's when you think about, I don't really think about it until kind of questions are asked specifically, but if you it wouldn't have felt like he just came in not too long ago in the spring, honestly, But things have been good, and I feel like things have been good for everybody around the room. The younger guys, they've got a better sense of what's going on and such, and not how should I say, kind of got that timid feeling, just sitting in the back of the room all quiet. They're not scared to speak up and such, and actually, I don't know what I'm doing. Yo, what is this? What's going on? Such and such. But yeah.
Okay. You kind of mentioned, Barry, that, obviously on paper, this team is a lot different than last year's team. And you kind of just made a comment that you guys like the energy and the vibe. It might be a little bit of a closer team. Can you kind of talk on that? Like, how is this team different? What's the vibe? Is it different? How different is it from last year's team?
It's just, how should I say? So since like the majority of my other friends and teammates and such have left my era, I guess you could say. Kind of being an older guy and always, being able to, sit back and observe a lot more. I can kind of see it. And, it's a lot of Cincinnati guys too. So, they all know each other some way, somehow and such, or met you at this camp, seen you on this visit, something like that, or we used to play together then and there. But it's like everybody's around the how should I say, I feel like it's easier for guys and people to gel when they're around the same age and such, because you just relate a little bit more. Not saying that I don't relate with the younger guys and such either, but it's just cool to see.
Bari, I got a football, non-football related question for you here. One of my new favorite players here on the roster is the Godfather, Dante Corleone. That guy's a legend. But what's it like?
In the making.
Yeah, what's it like playing with him? What do you see in him that could be super special in the next few years? And also, what is your skyline order? And do you think you could take the Godfather down in a Cholito eating contest?
First of all, we had to put the Cholito wars and talks to bed because it was getting out of insane hearing about his orders and stuff. And like, it's just like, God. I'm like, yo, don't ruin it. I mean, it's just a chili dog. Don't ruin it for me. It's good every once in a while, but that's nuts. But man, the kid, or I shouldn't say kid, the young man, he's great to be around. And what Dante's been here since was it? I think he was a freshman last year. It was his second year, redshirt freshman. He used to be in a cocoon a little bit. He was real timid. One of those dudes scared. Sat in the back, just kind of kept his mouth shut and tried to work hard. You can see it, but he started coming out of shell a lot more, man. And he's great to be around, man. He brings great energy. It'd be days where the older guys like me and such. You feeling old. I'm feeling it some of those days. He's one of those dudes who, just unexpectedly, just he come around the corner, cheesing, rumbling. He's a good kid, man. He brings a lot of good stuff to the team.
Are you still chefing in the kitchen? Are you still cooking it up in the kitchen?
For sure. I mean, it's been a grip. Not gonna lie to you. Yeah, it's been a grip. But last night, me and my girl just made some chicken parm.
That's solid. I like that.
Chicken parm went crazy real quick. You feel me? But
air fryer, or do it and you bake it. No.
Fry in the pan, yeah, and throw it in the oven with the, did the
Got
whole deal.
Dude, do you have an air fryer?
I do. It got me just big enough. I might get me one of them the Ninja ones, man. They're getting nuts. They've got like a grill / like.
Is that an Instapot?
Yeah, man, it's nuts. It's like 30 in one.
I've got one. The Ninja XL grill.
Yeah. Well,
It bakes, it air fries, it does a little bit of everything. It's if you're thinking about it, do it. It's worth it. Thing's fire.
It'll change your life.
Fire.
Yeah,
Fire.
might have to. Might be just on board. Buy.
I mean, we'll just stay on food here. What's this Martino's order? What's the bar?
Yeah, can you plug that? I got a couple NIL questions for you, but I want you to plug the Martino's, the Bari.
Tell them the mob sent you. Get you
The mob.
50% off, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little pizza deal we got going on, and just it's I guess you could. They're trying to go for this old school style, kind of like the back in the day, kind of that mob Italian feeling, I guess, the crew and such, and yeah, just kind of a thing, they're just trying to get some of the guys together and trying to help promote local restaurants and trying to do something nice for the athletes as well and such. But yeah, man, it's a good time. Every couple of weeks or so, we get together and we have like a game night over there and such. Food and games and such, and anybody can come through. But it's a good time.
What's your order? What's the Bari?
It's a man. It's got pepperoni. No, a lot. It's got sausage, bacon, banana peppers.
Okay, classic. Not too much, but just enough. I like it.
I originally had olives on there, and then I was like, nah, it's gonna throw everybody off.
We're thinking. I don't know what you think, Chef Bari, but we're thinking of doing like a Rock of Truth segment where me and Statty like come to your apartment and you just cook us up something electric and we like rate it and get it on YouTube, like a whole new segment. I don't know what you're thinking, but I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I need royalties off that if you make some cheese for sure.
There we go.
Royalties, man. He's a businessman now.
Nah, we can definitely make that happen.
Gets image and likeness, doesn't know how to act.
All right, yeah. So I have a question. I don't know if you know, but that's kind of what I do now. I work for a company that like does athlete marketing.
Yeah, I'm up.
Yeah. Icon Source. I'm sure you've heard of it. We do, NIL. So I'm just kind of curious. Like, I think a lot of people, especially like fans, probably they hear about NIL, but they don't know much about it. Like you as a player, can you just kind of talk about like your take on it and the impact it has for you? Is it something that like is talked about in the locker room? Not really, or is it something that you care about, or just like cool that it's there? Like, kind of how does it affect you? I think would be cool because people probably don't really get to hear from an athlete's.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of looked at it as it's kind of cool that it's there, and it's a tool if you're able to use it, and I mean, if not, then I mean, it's not like it's a. I mean, it can make a change in your college career, and or you just be doing what you've been doing from the beginning. But I know it was originally created. I feel like those big name guys like Ahmad and Dej, to give them an opportunity to make some money off their name, image, and likeness, like all these other places and things and like universities and such, you get to make money off of it. But yeah, man, it's I feel like it kind of for a little bit and even still, but I mean, I feel like it was taking a weird kind of bad turn. But just I don't know how you would explain. I wouldn't say. I mean, I guess I wouldn't necessarily say like selfishness. I'm not exactly sure how that all works, but just that involvement with the portal being like free agency and stuff too.
Yeah.
But
exactly. I definitely think there's a right way to do it and a wrong way. I mean, like you said, like the thing you're doing, Martino's, like that's really cool. Like you're supporting a local business.
Yeah.
You like that's what NIL was made for. It was like the small to mid medium-sized like local businesses. But
Yeah.
and we could have a whole podcast too, but like when there's the collectives that are coming in and donors and they're paying recruits like whatever they're paying them to come play and all of that's where NIL is. I think we can all agree kind of it's not what it was built to be. But I was kind of just curious what your take on that was. But it is cool. It is cool. I mean, it's cool to see the boys like doing stuff, whether it's with local companies or not. It's exciting to see.
Facts.
And it goes a long way for sure.
Do you think Statty Daddy could have gotten like a sick NIL deal back in his playing days, Bari?
I definitely think we could have made some shake. I'm not even gonna say we. I definitely think he could have made some shake.
The show would have gone crazy.
The
show would probably have $1 billion right now.
The show would have been nuts. It would have been egregious. Wow, man, that's a opportunity. Too soon, I guess.
You had a pretty fun off season, huh? You went talk about a little bit first pitch at the Reds game. I mean, dude, like
I guess this off season was kind of interesting. Huh?
It's kind of like a dream of mine. And you're a Pirates guy. Like, you're a Pittsburgh dude, and they got you throwing first pitch on the Red. Like, what the heck's that? No, but
what's crazy was I was actually like walking past the Pirates bullpen. I was trying to get the ball.
They were playing the Pirates when you threw it?
You said, huh?
They were playing the Pirates when you had the first pitch?
Yeah, that's who they were playing. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, why are you a Pittsburgh guy? Did you grow up in Pittsburgh? I know you went to high school in Akron.
No, I was. So before I came up to Akron, I was in Steubenville, and Steubenville is like 30 minutes from Pittsburgh. So that's why I'm a Steelers fan. But I'm really a Yankees fan.
Oh, one of those guys. Jeez. You're like Statty, dude. Statty's a Red Sox fan, a Duke fan.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like,
who's your NBA team?
The Celtics.
Oh, dude. I like the Celtics, the Lakers, the Knicks,
the Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Is Statty screen froze?
Statty's frozen. I'm glad because he would have been real upset at the comment I make because we always give him a hard time because he loves the Cincinnati teams and all of a sudden he likes Duke men's basketball. Whoever's playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. The Patriots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Statty.
awesome. I got a more of like an actual football question. So this was something I was thinking about. I was just curious your take on it. So, you're obviously like you're very strong, but you might not be the biggest defensive lineman in the world, but you are like very athletic. And like it's one of those things too. It's like, I don't know what your 40 time is or like what your pro agility and stuff, but just like I'm talking like natural athletic ability. Like I've played basketball with you, the way you move, it's very fluid. You can throw a football like 60 yards. You can kick like 40-yard field goals, like things that are like not natural. You can, play baseball and all these things. And I think a guy who was like that was Curtis Brooks. I think he was very similar to you in that like might not be necessarily the biggest guy in the world, the strongest, but was just like very naturally athletic. Do you feel like that's your like biggest strength or something that like really helps you on the football field?
That's definitely a plus for not only I, but Kurt as well. But I think our biggest advantage was the fact of really knowing the game and, just IQ. And I mean, college football, a lot of things is just, it's a copycat league. Everybody kind of does same form of something. But the angles and body position, man. That angles, body position, and IQ. That's all it is. Just knowing the game. And it's as we've gotten older, the game has gotten slower. So it's just opened up more opportunities.
Yeah, that makes sense. You always love seeing that is like you. Statty's a really good basketball player. Kurt. It was always fun playing with a big defensive lineman who could move like that.
I was just talking about it. I'm like, man, I haven't haven't hooped in a minute, and I'm looking at the LeBrons that just come out, and I'm like, man, those kind of look like. I'm not gonna lie, like I would just casually kind of wear those. Not gonna to the facility real quick, low-key.
He finally came out with the casual.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're on basketball. Sorry, I timed out there. Gotta love internet. But that windmill celebration after your scoop and score was pretty nice on the sideline. I mean,
yeah.
That was almost a full windmill. Like you brought that thing way back there.
I'd like to say it was, but salty, my man's dropped the hoop, so like I actually missed. So I don't know if anybody caught that, but yeah, it didn't actually go through the room.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We got anything else from my man's here?
I mean, I have one question for him, actually. It's like an off football question. Bar, we follow each other on Twitter ever since the last time we did the podcast. Do you ever like look on Twitter and read through some of like the dumb Bearcat Twitter tweets that you see? Like, I'm not saying like you as players pay attention to them, but you have to see them at some points and be like, what is this guy talking about? You know?
All the time. Like when I get bored, that's kind of what I go do. I'm not gonna lie. It's like let's see who thinks they know what they're talking about today. Like
I used to tweet some of the dumbest. I'll be honest with you guys, like honest hour. I used to tweet some pretty dumb stuff until I became friends with like Josiah, Staddy, and Soppy and Spawn. And I was like, the more I became friends with them, I was like, man, I'm like tweeting about like 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. Like I felt kind of like just an ass at times, you know, like I would like sit up and I'd be like deleting tweets. Like, why did I tweet that? Like, but it's as a Bearcat fan, there's so much emotion. Like I'm trying to get you guys to understand there's so much emotion built up during a game that sometimes like the only thing you have and can do is like go on Twitter and just start like tweeting out the crazy stuff. And then like after a game, Josiah would text me and be like, bro, what does the matter with you? Like delete that tweet. And I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm sorry. I'll go delete that.
Josie was calling you out?
Yeah.
Josie would Josie would text me and be like, dude, I'm gonna have to unfollow you if you keep like acting like this.
You really hit it. Dude, there's some guys who like just don't look at it at all. Then there's dudes who like right away will just like be all in it. Dez was one of those guys. He would like if he like, especially even if he didn't play well, he would like read it, but like he wouldn't like bother him, like laugh. He would be like, look at these DMs. These people would be sending him like the meanest shit you've ever heard in the DMs, and he would just be laughing at it, like reading it to us.
Sometimes I never did. Interested to see how crazy they can get. Like,
I never did anything like that. Like, I never like directly tweet at someone or message. It was just more like, what's going on with like the defense tonight? Like something small like that. It wasn't like anything at anyone in particular.
That's totally fine. I mean, I get that. Like being a passionate sports fan, like I'll tweet about, I used to, and then when I was playing and coach, I didn't, but now I'm back on my Twitter grind. I'm like, I can do like whatever I want. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
And I'll tweet like about the Browns, like what the hell is going on and stuff like that. But like to take it to that level, to DM somebody and be like, that's just like, dude, like, come on, you're doing the most. That's a human being. Like,
do I provide any entertainment slapping people around that say dumb shit?
I love it actually.
I'm not gonna lie, I do be reading those. I be reading those. I'll be going so deep into the thread. I'm ready to start, bro.
Look, it's one thing to be a fan and be like, hey, the offense didn't play well in the second half. They need to get it together. It's another thing to just like be taking blatant shots at like these guys work. Like, you ever been to Higher Ground and see what they go through for 3 weeks out there? Like 100-degree heat, like sacrificing everything so you can watch your football team. Like, let's chill out. Quit being a dumbass.
Honestly, hey Chad, if I'm being honest with you, at first, like when I first was introduced to Bearcat Journal, I was like, this guy's kind of a jerk. And then the more I read it, the more I was like, all right, like I love this guy. Like it's kind of hilarious. Like he's like these Xavier fans tweeting at you. I'm like, this is awesome. Like get him, Chad, get him.
Here's the thing that people don't realize about that. I'm always laughing. Like people are like, you're so mad. I'm like, I'm not mad about it. Like I've got plenty of my life to be upset about. I'm not mad about clowning somebody on Twitter. Like, that's not something like, it's not from a place of anger. It's from a place of entertaining, 15,000 followers.
Yeah.
Love that. We got
You know who else? You know who else sits at night and reads my tweets? Luke.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. If I'm on one, he'll see me the next day and be like,
That's awesome.
Yeah, you're a legend.
He's like, dude, I'm not on Twitter much, but I check you to see if there's anything to like make me laugh at 10 o'clock at night when I'm winding down and going to bed.
Gives them that late night entertainment.
Right. The kids are in bed. The wife's probably sleeping. Luke's reading my tweets, like laughing.
10 o'clock. He's probably still at the office at 10 o'clock.
That was Freeman. Freeman would always be like, I got 6 kids. I'm not going home.
Yeah. Those guys, man.
Barry, you know that. Freeman was in the office and like he got home just in time to like kiss him on the forehead. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, they live in there, man.
Well, Barry, with the new season and with Chad being so awesome, letting us kind of get on this platform, and we've added a little new entertainment to the Rock of Truth with tweets of the week. And Chad, we able to get those pulled up. I think we only got two or three maybe this week. Nothing too hilarious, but
Tweets of the week,
just kind of funny ones.
And we look at them and then we just kind of go in and see what we think.
Love cheering for Cincinnati, but because WTF is a Bearcat. Barry, could you give us the definition of the actual animal of a Bearcat and what it is? You don't even know what a Bearcat is?
No, I do. But like
The definition.
I can't get. No, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I couldn't. Like I know I could tell the difference between like if you line up a bunch of animals and be like pick the Bearcat, like
Then you would be able to know.
yeah, but nah, I can't.
You want to know my favorite part, Barry?
What?
What do you think a Bearcat smells like?
Oh yeah, I knew this one.
Ooh.
A Bearcat has a very distinct smell.
Is it something I've typically smelled on a daily basis?
It's something you have probably enjoyed dozens, if not hundreds of times in your life.
Something I eat?
Yeah.
Is it something sweet?
Sweet is not the term I would use. It's something you put in the microwave or get at a place of entertainment.
Popcorn?
Yeah.
Buttered popcorn. A Bearcat smells like buttered popcorn.
Really?
You want to this isn't going to make any sense at all. But like where was I at when I lived right there off of MLK and always driving past the zoo, like my girl would be like, it stinks. I was like, I smell popcorn.
Nah.
You smelled the Bearcat.
Lucy,
At least you got enough baths. Come on.
whatever the heck her name is.
It's Lucille now, right?
Yeah, Lucille. It's Lucille now.
Isn't it a new one?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a new one. What's the new one's name?
Lucille.
Lucille.
It used
That's
to be
right.
Lucy, now it's
Dude,
Lucille.
they should have named the new one something way cooler than that. I'm sorry.
Like
I
Desmond
agree,
Ritter.
but-
or
Like Sauce the Bearcat.
That would have been cool. But
Yeah.
Bearcat is a binturong is the technical term.
What do they?
Or
do?
hey, can we get Chad back?
That's a
Can
rap
we get
roll,
Chad back
man.
on here? I gotta because I would think the Bearcat should have been named like Brad Chendel. Have you ever heard the guy who goes on 700 and he calls in as Brad Chendel?
Yeah, it's actually it's a Twitter account. If you look up Brad Chendel, there's actually somebody created a Brad Chendel Twitter account to troll me.
Man.
Wait, so there's not a guy that goes on 700 to say he's Brad?
No. There's a guy that does the talkbacks on Tony's show
Yeah,
that like imitates me.
yeah.
But it started like 4 or 5 years ago with a Brad Chendall Twitter account. And he used to show up in my mentions all the time, but I think he just like got bored with his burner. So I haven't seen him in a long time. The person that loves that more than anything is DeMar Johnson. Every time I see DeMar Johnson, he's like, Brad Chendall. I'm like, DJ, you're fucking killing. Come on, man. You're killing me.
If somebody's trolling you, I mean, that means you're doing something right. You're literally
like
100%.
I don't like, it's all in good fun. Like I don't take it too seriously. People get worked up by that stuff, but somebody's creating fake Twitter accounts for you. The business is working. Things are going well for the Bearcat Journal community. If that's
all publicity is good publicity.
Absolutely.
One more thing for you, Bari. I know we've held you a little longer than maybe planned, but we appreciate it. This will be your first trip out to Tulsa, huh? You haven't played at Tulsa, right?
No, I was talking
Vic hasn't been out there yet. We got another tweet. Sorry. Yeah, there he is. Best Buy visit. There he goes. Ivan Pace, best linebacker in the nation.
Crazy.
Good for it.
Pretty, yeah. I think it just a cool graphic. You don't see a lot of. Well, you do now. You see a lot more CPAWs now talked about the best in the nation, but
get used to it, boys.
Yeah.
Steady, I'm on the edge of my seat to hear that you finish your Tulsa question, though.
No, just trying to, this is his first time going out there. It's going to be his last ride in the American Athletic Conference conference play. Just kind of what expectations, what's second half of the season, or the true season. A lot of people like to say we've won 16 straight in the conference. So have you ever been to Tulsa, Oklahoma in general?
No.
Okay.
Closest I've been down there. The closest I've been down there was Arkansas.
All right. Well, they're pretty similar.
Both suck.
Whoa.
Hey.
I got some blood in Oklahoma, so I'm a little partial.
Oh yeah, your brother's down there.
Yeah, Big Bro's down there, but no, just it's been a tough matchup team for you, and finally getting to play on their turf. Obviously looking forward to it because it's the next game, but just I don't know. Any thoughts on going to the Golden Hurricanes home?
I mean, all respect to them. I mean, we got to respect them that much more just because we're going to their home turf. So, it's been some really tough and rough games the past two. So, and I know they're eager to get at us. So, we're ready to go. But it's gonna be interesting going down there. Never been down there. And I was talking to Jason in Quitman. He was I don't think they've been down there since he's been here either.
I never went. That was the only stadium that I never went to in our conference was Tulsa.
Yeah.
Last time we played there, I think it was the year I redshirted. It was like
Tubbs' last game.
You said what?
Tubbs' last
year. Yeah, it was his last game.
Yeah, I remember I redshirted. I was at home for Thanksgiving, and then we never played there when I was there. The 6 years that I was, or the next 5 or whatever.
Well, you were supposed to, but it was the COVID cancellation.
COVID, yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, hey, Bari, man, appreciate you, dude. Love you, dude. Thank you so much for coming back first. Or is this our second time, or Joe Met?
This is second, man.
This is our second time. Okay.
Recurring guest. You're now a recurring guest.
This is our first ever reoccurring guest.
Yeah, this is our first. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
No, you're good. Big 90, big Bari, big stink. Love it. I'll be sure to get that Bari at Martino's, man.
Yeah, man, go try it out. It's pretty fire.
Thanks for coming on, Bari.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Good luck this weekend.
Good luck, man.
Good luck Saturday.
Thanks.
There he is, man. Jabari Taylor. What a guy.
Listen, Bari was great tonight.
Yeah.
Brought the energy.
Yeah,
I really loved listening to him and having him on. Sorry about my connection, by the way, fellas. It's been a little off tonight,
same.
but I've settled in here in the last 20 minutes, so I'm trying to bring my best here to finish out the show.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like your background. You got the fine china in the back. Looks good.
Yeah. I mean, Soppy's got Hurricane Ian outside his window, and he's got better connection than us. I don't understand.
Can we talk about how I'm a hurricane survivor?
Yeah, I hope the Bearcats bring the hurricane to the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
The
I like
Golden Knights.
Luckily, yeah, dude, that was crazy. I didn't really know what to expect. I was very prepared. We were very prepared here,
Good.
which was nice, but luckily it didn't hit us too bad. It hit Fort Myers and Naples really, really bad. So if any of our listeners or anybody who has family or friends down there, we're thinking of you because it hit it pretty hard. So, thoughts and prayers to them. It's always scary, but luckily it didn't hit Orlando too bad where I'm at. Didn't even lose power, which I thought for sure I would. But
Nice.
Yeah, man, Florida living. That's what you get when you pay for the palm trees and all that. You got to deal with hurricanes and stuff.
Get some rain. Love it. Just real quick back on Tulsa, and then get into American and locks of the week. We're actually another series we're tied in. Joe Med, is this a series where you think get on top and get out again? Is this another one of those games, or it's 17 and 2?
I think fortunately for us, going to the Big 12, we are luckily going to be, hopefully this will be the last time we ever play the Tulsa, what are they, the Golden Hurricane or whatever?
Yep.
Golden Hurricane.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know. I was trying to find an update on some injuries because that top receiver Stokes I mentioned earlier, talking to Bari, he took a tough shot to the head, and I think he actually had
the world's largest streaming channel in over 40 countries, all in one go.
Oops. He had like a slight twitch, or like almost seize in his leg. That was pretty scary to watch. And then the quarterback Bryn, he also had an injury against Ole Miss. Again, I was trying to dig around, find some info. Maybe Chad. I mean, he's great with the injuries. I don't know if he's got anything on it, but
it sounded like high ankle potentially.
For Bryn.
So for Bryn, yeah.
Anything
that's difficult because all the Tulsa media has me blocked from a couple years ago.
Hey, get into that. Can you get into that for us? I remember a few years ago, that was the COVID year, right? And there was when the game got canceled, like that whole thing was so weird. So
the first game, and I have to be careful here because Luke doesn't approve when I talk about a lot of this. The first game, there was a legit, you guys were going through some things. The second game, I think the word was willing to play. Have enough guys willing to play. And you guys didn't play for a month. Yeah. And the Tulsa president said no. Don't want the potential to bring that to our campus, which I completely understand why the Tulsa president would say no. But Cincinnati was willing to go to Tulsa to play that game to determine who would have home field for the AAC championship game. And the Tulsa president shut it down and said, that's not happening. And then obviously it goes to who was the higher rated team as to who gets to host the game. Cincinnati was willing to play. Tulsa was not willing to play. And that's just the honest, reality of the situation. So if you're a Tulsa fan that was upset about that, look inward. Because you would have had a chance to play a Cincinnati team that was severely depleted. If you watch the championship game, that was still a Cincinnati team that was going through some shit. I know Jake's not going to talk about it or speak on it, but he can smile if I'm on point.
Yeah,
so
you're not wrong.
So and I pointed that out to the Tulsa media, whined like I've never seen a media whine before.
They were obnoxious.
That they were wronged and that Cincinnati was afraid to play them, which, come on. What about this team in the Luke Fickell era says they've been afraid to play anybody? They played Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. They're afraid to play Tulsa? What's wrong with come on. Let's use some common sense here.
It was that one corner was talking a bunch of shit on Twitter, and then AP just dogged him all game when we played him, and everybody was going wild.
And that's sneaky about AP, Jake. Everybody thought AP was super quiet and mellow, which he was.
He was, but the way he did it was very calculated.
And as soon as he put that helmet on, he was ready to take you out.
100%.
But that was on Tulsa. That was not on Cincinnati. They made the decision to punt on that game and decided on the field at Nippert Stadium. And it was a great game. I've said this, Jake. I'm interested in your thoughts on this because I've said this quite a bit this week. Tulsa, like SMU, when you guys punched SMU in the mouth, they curled up like a ball and asked for their mom.
Mm-hmm.
When you punched Tulsa in the mouth, they kind of were that crazy person that licked the blood on their lip and was like, I like that. Shit, now we're in a fight. They like playing you guys for whatever. I give them credit because they did not. A lot of teams have kind of shied away from the physicality of Cincinnati. Tulsa has been come on.
Yeah, no, they've always been a team that, again, like you said, I don't think they're really intimidated by us, which I think some other people are. They've always given us a hard fight, and they're one of those teams that's scrappy, might be even a little bit dirty, at the bottom of the pile, kind of do some stuff.
Right, they licked the blood and said, once you know when somebody licks the blood and smiles at you, you've gone from punching someone in the face to now I'm in a fight. And they like to fight. I'll give them credit for that.
Yeah, no, they do. And they're just a unique team to play too. Their defense that they run is not the easiest defense to play again, just schematically what they do. And I'm assuming it's probably the same as it has been. I don't know if they've changed or what, but they've always, for whatever reason, just been one of the more difficult teams for us to play.
No Jackson player makes a big difference.
Yeah, that kid
was a monster.
A monster and was there forever. And there's something you can go back on, but he used to be able to do this thing with his mouth, a clicking sound with his mouth, and it would sound exactly like a clap. And if you watch us play Tulsa the past couple of years, there were so many false starts. It's because he was doing that with his mouth, and that was getting our center to snap the ball or mess up our snap count, which it is a penalty, but it's one of those things where how can you show that they're insinuating the cadence because the dude's doing
I've never heard that. I've heard that they were mimicking snap counts. I've never heard that it was Jackson player clapping with his mouth.
It was Jackson player had you know how those people have that weird ability, he can make a clicking sound that would echo so loud, and he could do it with his mouth, and he would do it, and it would for the snap, and it sounded exactly like a clap, and it would mess. I mean, it was a huge issue. We had to tell the refs over and over again. It's one of those things it's hard to prove because you're not.
That's outstanding insight.
Yeah, it was a very big issue for 2 years that we played him, or however many years.
Well, now he's gone,
so there should be less false starts. I don't know an excuse unless he taught his understudy. That's what you can.
We get 0 false starts.
There should be a significant amount of less false starts against Tulsa this year than there were the past couple years.
That's outstanding, Jake. Literally, that's that. I had heard everybody talked about Tulsa was mimicking the snap counts. I had never heard how or why. That's good shit because it was evident in those games against them that there was some discombobulation between the center and the quarterback.
That's what it was.
Jackson player. Not only was he dominant,
yeah, he
could
really
clap. He could make it clap with his mouth.
Yeah.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Yeah, and it's one of those things it sounds silly to say out loud. How do you say that in a press conference? I don't think you can, but that was what was going on. It's just
that's great.
Good for you that you're able to do that. But yeah, it's crazy. I don't know too much about them this year. I know they're 2-2. They just lost to Ole Miss last week, 35-27. Ole Miss is a pretty good team, so they obviously played them well. I don't know. Does anybody have any like special insight on the Golden Hurricane and what to expect? Or
I want your opinion on this too. These are things that have been discussed all week through the Bearcat Journal Network. They're throwing the ball a ton. Like
Really?
That's what
at one point, like going into the Ole Miss game, Davis Bren led the country in passing yards.
Yep.
They have really good wide receivers. We'll see if he can play or if he can't play or what the deal is. The guy behind him is more of a dual threat guy.
Mhm.
But my question is, if you're Tulsa and you're coming into this game as a team that has been very pass heavy, pass dominant, they've run it. They're kind of like Cincinnati. They haven't ran it well, but they haven't been bad. Like Indiana did. I would fire my head coach if he put 7 in the box, 8 in the box, and tried to stop a team from running up 28 in the second half. I would just fire him out of principle. But outside of that, like Cincinnati's run the ball adequately.
Yeah.
And Chuck had the 100-yard game against Miami. They ran it pretty well against Arkansas in stretches. But do you really go away from the run if you're Tulsa, given how much success you've had over the past 2 meetings running the ball at Cincinnati's 3-man front? Like I'm fascinated by this question because logic says we are what we are, and this year we are a passing team, and we have this quarterback and these wide receivers that we can throw it around. But we've dominated Cincinnati at the point of attack against the 3-man front. If you go away from that and you lose, like that opens up the door to a giant can of worms from your supporters and fan base questioning, like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to, Jake?
If I were them, I would run the. I mean, you got to think about. They probably feel like they're the inferior team, and they've obviously played us well. And what I would do is I would run the shit out of the ball because they've had success with it in the past, like you said, and they've kind of maybe figured our defense out a little bit more than other people have. But also you got to think about like to control the clock, and really that's the only way they're going to be able to control the games, that they could run the ball well. And defensively, like I was talking about, what they do is. If they still do what they did in the past, is that 3-man front, a lot of drop 8 and try to keep everything in front of them. And obviously what we do now is throw the ball around the yard. So they're trying to eliminate big plays and run the ball. And that way they have more control of the game and can kind of, feel like they can choke us out. Unless I'm completely wrong, I think that's their only chance. If I were them, that would be my game plan.
They're 120th in the country in pass efficiency defense.
Okay, well, that's not good.
Well, yeah, I mean,
for us.
I was gonna, piggyback off that, Chad. I mean, I think they're 100th in the country at giving up points too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're giving up
because teams are just throwing.
Exactly.
That game, they did a great job in the second half against Ole Miss. That was a 35-17 game, I think, at halftime. Like,
yeah, and I
they
just
can be beat in the air.
And I mean, as impressive as they've been through the air, I mean, they're still getting 150 yards on the ground a game. So I just think they've been, just airing it out, and it's been working for them versus, I don't know. Like you said, just this matchup has been completely different than all the other games, I think, even including bowl games, just for us and even for them. So, I don't know why they don't go away from it. And like Jake was saying, just controlling that clock. If they're giving up points, and we're 16th in the nation at putting up points, and Ben Bryant can sling it, I think they're going to have to run the ball to keep our offense cooled down. And otherwise, Tyler Scott's going to be running 5 posts for a touchdown this week. So.
He's so – that was an All-American cornerback that he did that to. And it was simply because he took on the post route. Because he took 1.5 steps inside, and that guy got spun around like he was, they do the bat thing at baseball games with people. That's what he looked like. He looked like he did the dizzy bat thing.
Dizzy bat.
Trying to figure out where Tyler Scott was on that post.
Yeah, he started running the corner.
Well, what he tried to do was stop what happened on the 3rd touchdown, which was Tyler Scott ran the curl caught it and took it straight to the house. Like his route running is
Smooth.
everybody's so worried about his speed. His route running is unbelievably crisp. I had a question for you too, Statty. I've been on here way too much tonight. I'm sorry.
You're good.
You're good.
That's why Aaron's going to produce your show because I just talk. I do this 30 hours a week. Corleone.
Yeah.
When he took that center, did you see the video?
Yeah, the bully.
Yeah,
When he took that center, well, the crazy thing to me was, and Nick, I'm guessing you saw this, after like 3 steps, the center planted and went to re-engage.
Yeah.
And that's when Corleone made him do a back bend like my daughter in the 6-year-old gymnastics tumbling.
Yeah. Literally folded him in half.
You have to quit football, right? If somebody does that to you, you have to
well,
okay, that was it. It was I had a good run. See you guys later.
And I'm pretty sure that's the guy I was talking about earlier, the D2 transfer. And
he was their third string center.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how many times he's seen a Corleone in his life. So,
everybody's raving about Ivan Pace, and rightfully so, because he's been one of the best defensive players of the year in the country. But we're watching a star turn for Dante Corleone that we are going to be talking about for 2, 3, however many more years.
He's that Big 12, that Oklahoma. Their nose tackles at Oklahoma are massive.
Yeah. And they just destroy people.
Baylor, massive, and they just move them. And he fits that build for sure.
There was another point in that game. They used 3 guys to a stalemate on him. They sent 3 guys at him, and all that happened was he didn't move.
That's special.
All that happened, he just stood there with all 3 of them, we're not going anywhere. He's unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
he's unbelievable. And he also looks like a combination of Bebop and Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If Bebop and Rocksteady had a baby, it would be like this Dante Corleone.
I love that.
All right, I'll let you guys finish up. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're great, Shane.
We got locks of the week.
Let's get on. People have been waiting for them. We're doing so good, right?
Dude, boys, we have a serious issue. I think we're 1 in
I haven't won
20. I haven't won either. Joe,
I have.
Hey, I would like to point out though, okay, my 3-game parlay last week would have won if Arkansas's kicker didn't suck and made that chip shot field goal. I was almost 3 for 3. It's not now. I know almost. We got to refocus. Doesn't count. We got to refocus. But I just want the fans to know we're gaining momentum. We're about to get there.
I think if you're a fan listening to this show, I think by now just to fade us,
fade the rock,
fade the heck out of us.
We're bound to get lucky and you hammer every pick we give you.
My defense is I was with the rest of the nation and rode the Wolverines to whoop Maryland, and I'm not going to say it was fixed, but I think there was a reason that the Terps were able to cover. But
dude, I could not have been more confident in USC last week to cover. Thought it was free money, and they won by I think 3,
17-14,
and it was just the worst game ever. I don't even think it was on TV. I couldn't even watch it.
Oregon State didn't even have their tight end either, their best player.
I mean, we might be a little bit cursed, boys, but guess what? If there was ever a week to turn it around.
Right here. I'll start.
All right, give it to us.
Short to the point. Purdue doesn't have their quarterback. Looks like they're going to suck this year. We're going to go Minnesota -12. Nothing else.
Minnesota's rolling people, aren't they?
Minnesota -12 at home.
Gophers.
I was actually thinking about taking the Boilermaker money line.
Oh my goodness.
But
this guy loves good odds.
I'm gonna take Razorback spread, 17-point dogs against Alabama, and I got a good feeling that Coach Pittman and the boys are going to get it done. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover. They're going to cover. That's my bet. That's my pick of the week.
Man,
Okay.
Bama's losing people money if they keep losing the spread.
I honestly don't feel good about the board. Went through it. Thought about just saying, you know what, Bearcats -10, feel good about it. But the more we've kind of talked about like Tulsa playing as good every year, I've kind of throughout this show started to talk myself out of it. I think we would push 10. I think we win like 27-17. We push 10.
It's climbed 10.5, so you might be onto something.
Okay. Well, if it's 10.5, I like that. But I actually no, I don't. I would yeah, never mind. What I would like is Wake Forest +6.5 at Florida State. I think Florida State are frauds. I would go as far as taking Wake Forest money line, going into Tallahassee to beat the Florida State Seminoles.
Back-to-back ACC underdogs by a touchdown for them. A heartbreaker against Clemson last week.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a letdown for them because I really like Hartman. I just really like Wake because of Hartman, and I want to see them go to a big bowl game. But if they lose, it's not going to hurt my feelings, break my heart.
It's yeah, you're right. It's tough coming off that game, but I kind of think Florida State are some frauds. I don't know.
I like it.
What do I know? Who cares? If you're listening to this, you should take Florida State -6.5 and feel pretty confident.
I mean, we really are one of like 23, I think.
If there's ever a week.
But hey, remember last week, Arkansas's kicker makes that kick. Joe Metz, 3-leg parlay, cashes in.
No special bets out of you this week, dude. I thought you were going to come 10-point teaser or something.
If you want me to throw something down like crazy, I can do it right now. I have one in the back of my mind.
If you got one in the back of your mind, then let it fly. We don't want to put you on the spot, but it seems like you were kind of hoping we were going to ask you about it.
Listen, here we go. I'm going to give it to you straight, okay? I think we got to go. If you want, I'm going to do a 3-leg parlay this week, and I think it's going to hit, okay? I'm going to go all dogs, 3-leg parlay, all dogs. Boilermakers money line, okay. Texas Tech money line, and just for fun, okay, just for fun, let's do NC State money line, the 3-dog parlay.
Who's NC State a dog to?
Clemson, the Tigers.
Oh,
and they're gonna what they're gonna do? They're going to make the Bearcats, NC State Wolfpack this weekend, mark my words, going to make the Bearcats the longest home win streak in the country.
That would be awesome.
What was it again? I want to 3 dogs. I want to type in and see if I can't find out these odds real quick. NC State, what'd you do?
NC State money line, Purdue money line.
Texas Tech.
Yep, those 3. And listen.
All right. Bear with me here for a second.
Mark my words.
That payout.
Mark my words. Tigers losing.
Dude, Kansas State might be a steal out there. 7.5's a lot, but I mean, I like them a lot.
I'm hammering money lines too. I'm not looking at the spread.
Hey, you can.
What's it at, Daddy?
Joe Matt, you're hilarious, dude. $10 will get you 400 on that parlay, everybody.
Boom. That's all you need, baby. And then, unreal.
Is that plus 4,000 odds? Is that
4,000? Yeah.
Chad, you hammering that this weekend?
Yeah, I'm on it. I do have a kind of a serious question, given what we've seen tonight.
What's up?
What happened? What have we seen?
Did you see
Tua.
Did you see what happened to Tua last week?
Yes.
The head injury.
Jake, what was your instant reaction when you saw how he
got up and was
and that they sold it as he had back spasms?
Yeah.
I've had back spasms my entire life.
It's not the same.
I've never done this, and I've never collapsed in a heap.
Yeah.
If something bad happened to him tonight, which I don't know, you guys have been doing this. I don't know if you've seen.
I saw it in the corner of my screen.
I saw it.
His hands locked like this.
Yeah.
And they had to stretcher, put the board out, and take him to UC Hospital Trauma Center.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be fired.
Yes.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. Everybody's getting fired, and the NFL is going to have a nice, a fat lawsuit from the NFL.
Might get rid of Thursday night.
I don't think it has anything to do with Thursday night. Like, they didn't protect. They sent him back out there to win that game, Nick. On Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's how he was able to avoid concussion protocol. Apparently, they didn't even test him for a concussion Sunday because they said it was his back locked up and everything was fine. So he never even entered concussion protocol on Sunday. That's malpractice.
Yeah.
It's awful.
It's horrible. And if you watch it, it's scary. Like the way his hands kind of, I mean, it was bizarre.
But that's what happens if you had a concussion 4 days ago.
Yeah.
That they ignored and didn't diagnose, didn't treat, didn't react. They brushed it off as the other thing about the back spasm thing. Have you guys had back spasms?
I got a
I have
bad back. So I have.
When it locks up, Jake, are you ever fine 15 minutes later?
No.
It wipes me out for 3-4 days.
You can't get off the toilet.
Right. Like you can't do anything.
Yeah, one time I had one, I literally sat on the toilet and could not physically get up.
Get up, right? And you couldn't wipe either because that. I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking. When your back locks up like that, there's nothing physically that it locks up and you're like a dead fish, right?
Yeah,
you're not wobbly. You don't collapse like somebody turned the air off on one of those guys at the car dealerships.
Yeah.
That's what he looked like when he fell down.
No, yeah, it's scary and it's a liability. And like you said, people are going to lose their jobs and there's going to be a big lawsuit.
It's terrifying. It's hard to believe in this day and age they can let that happen.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
I didn't think he was going to play tonight.
Especially
from that.
Yeah.
If he would have won a concussion protocol, he probably wouldn't have played tonight.
Right.
Yeah, there's that protocol put in place to avoid this. If you're not even going to use it, then what's the point?
It's infuriating. It's infuriating because, there has to be. You know how it is, Jake. Guys want to play. They want to hide whatever it is that might be wrong, if humanly possible, because they want to get back in the game. And how it's a lot of what Fick talks about, right? Of we work 280 days out of the year for these 12 opportunities.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss one of these 12 opportunities, but you guys have to be protected from yourself
100%.
in those situations. Because your default setting is Thursday night, Bengals, team that just went to the Super Bowl, or last week, close game, need to win. We can go 3-0 and be atop the AFC. Nah, bro, give me your helmet. Chill. It's malpractice. What I saw tonight from Miami. Malpractice. Complete malpractice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I didn't mean to end it on a bad note.
No, you bring up great points.
Yeah, I mean it's a scary sport, man. It is, and if you don't take care of people the right way and treat it that way, it's scary things can happen, like what we saw tonight, which is again makes you uneasy. It's hard. The thing too, I always think about it's so hard just to play the next snap after that and act like nothing happened. And, you could see, we were doing this, but I was watching it. Tyreek Hill was physically shaken and upset. It's hard just to keep playing.
That's your brother. That's somebody you care deeply about. I don't know. It really bothered me. It really bothers me because it bothered me Sunday.
Yeah.
He came back, when I heard he came back in the game, I'm like, what are we doing? How can anybody watch what happened there?
Yeah.
And not say, look, man, like we got Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater's pretty good. And I know people around here don't like talking about how good Teddy Bridgewater is for a couple obvious reasons. Joe knows.
I don't have any hate. Respect.
That's because you weren't a part of what happened, Nick. He made 2 throws.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
I mean, I do. He literally, like, damn near on his back launched it 55 yards for a sick touchdown. Yeah.
Twice he did that shit.
And each time he did it, we had like 3 missed sacks, just like right through our arms.
Yeah.
But like, punt, get this guy right, and don't put it, because when you do this, this is what, and that was, it wasn't a vicious hit. It wasn't something, he was wrapped up and brought down by a defensive lineman. His back and then his head hit the ground. It didn't look like anything that was super crazy. But if you had a concussion 4 days ago, that shit can kill you.
Yeah.
What are we doing? It makes me feel dirty to think like what Miami did in this situation.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
And I hate to bring it up because you guys have been podcasting for the whole time, so you haven't really been able to like pay attention to it. But like, it just bothers me. It's the system is supposed to be, independent doctors on the sidelines, and how does an independent doctor look at when he got up and like, nah, he's fine, rub some dirt on it, run his ass back out there? That's 1965 shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah. When there wasn't a doctor and it was probably the head coach saying, get out there. But no, man, what a fun episode, dude. This was great. This was awesome. I mean, first guest. Locks are going to hit this week, dude. I mean,
I have a great feeling about my 3
legs. The parlay's not, because obviously Minnesota needs to cover. So, but I mean, hey, another great one, boys. Episode 5, Rock of Truth.
Great stuff, fellas. I love podcasting with you. I'll see you next week.
Go Bearcats.
Cats by 90.